Hello, I am Ilona Blanquet. I work for the French Livestock Institute, the economy department more precisely. I am doctor in agronomy. I would like to thank the French Institute for having asked me to do this presentation. I have been asked to make a presentation about the French beef production. So, the content of this presentation will begin with the natural assets of France for beef production, the diversity of meat types we have in France, and the different types of cattle farms which produce these different products. The meat production in France is competitive, but it's also environmentally friendly, and I will explain how. There is a great diversity of beef breeds in France, which is very specific, with 24 breeds. Now, France has natural capacity to produce cattle and therefore meat, and I will explain how. France has an oceanic climate due to the Gulf Stream, which is a warm and humid Atlantic Ocean air that crosses the Atlantic here and brings a warm and humid climate to France. Therefore, we have regular rainfall in our country, between 800 and 2,000 millimeters per year in most of our regions that are colored here in light green, blue, purple. So all these regions here and here have very regular rainfall. Because of this, 50% of France's utilized agriculture area is covered with grass. And therefore, that is how France became European Union's first beef producer and also its second milk producer. On the world ranking, we are the 10th producer of beef and third world exporter of weanling cows. Even though our country is quite small, we are only at the 50th rank in area, we produce 1.3 million tons of beef per year, beef meat, and we have 19 million head of cattle. And we also export 1 million weanling cows every year. This is just a chart to show you the biggest beef producers in the world. You have the United States at the beginning, China is third, and you will find France, as I told you, at the 10th rank. Now, beef in France is characterized by a diversity of meat types. This chart presents different kinds of meat we find in France. To explain to you, I will start with the definitions here on the left side. What is cow meat? It's meat from a female bovine having calved at least once, which means it has had a baby at least once. There is the heifer meat. It comes from female bovines that have never calved yet. The young bulls are non-castrated male bovines aged from 8 months to 23 months. And the steer are castrated bovine males. Now, if you look at the chart for year 2019, we have 1/4 of our meat produced with dairy cows and dairy heifers, a bit of dairy young bulls, and 1/4 of the meat is also produced with beef cows meat, and 1/4 is produced with beef young bull meat. We also have beef heifers for 12%, and steers represent a very small percentage in France. Now, this chart shows you that French consumers eat a lot of cow meat and less meat of young male animals. This is the production of young bull meat of beef type. And this is the production of dairy cow meat and heifer meat, as well as beef cow meat. In France, we like to eat cow meat. Is it dairy cow or beef cow? Because the meat is of a dark red color. Now, young bull meat is of a lighter color, and the French people appreciate this color less, which means that France exports the meat of young bulls and we export mainly to Italy, Germany, Greece, and also to China since the year 2018. And we import cow meat to complete the supply of meat for the French consumers. Now, something very important about French beef production is the seasonal pattern of the beef cattle births. Now, maximum beef births are taking place at the end of winter and in the spring during the month of February and March and April. And the births take place crescendo from September on to the end of winter. And we had approximately 3,600,000 births in France during the last year. This number of beef cattle births is in slight decrease because French people and European consumers eat less beef. Our beef production is characterized by a large diversity of systems. And now the first system is the cow-calf system. The goal of this system is to give birth to beef breed calves. And these calves will be fattened elsewhere in France, in the west of France, or in other countries like in Italy and Spain. So the goal of this farming system is calving, and the system is called cow-calf. What is produced is weanlings. They are for males from 5 to 10 months old, and for females the same age. Sometimes they are a bit older too. We have about 37,000 farms of this type, and they have an average 50 mother cows on each of these farms. Now, the fattening farms are the farms where these weanlings will come for fattening and finishing. These farms only do fattening. How many are there in France? 3,000, and they fatten each at least 150 young bulls or females. The animals produced are ready for slaughter. These are young bulls or heifers ready for slaughter, and sometimes finished mother cows. And the last type is the type of cow-calf and fattening systems. It's farms where you have all the production in the same place, cow-calf and also fattening. And we have 10,000 of these farms. They have 60 mother cows per farm in average, and they will produce either 20 to 60 young bulls per year or more than 100. There are two types. Now, where do you find these different systems? The cow-calf systems that only deal with calving are mostly in the center of France, here in green, and in the southwest. Then the cows, when they are 7 or 8 months old, will be sent to fattening farms, which are in red, and they are mostly here in the northeast and mainly in the west. There is the third type I showed you. It was the all-in-one system. It's mostly in the west of France. You have cow-calf and fattening in the same farm. The calves are born and fattened there. Now, I would like to talk to you about the different French beef breeds. The first one is the Charolais. The Charolais is #1 beef breed in France. It comes from the center of France, but it's also very present in the west. It has been genetically selected for 150 years for meat production. And you have 1.6 million cows of this type in France. The average day growth of the males is 1.4 kilogram per day, and the average carcass weight is 445 kilos, which means the live animal weighs about 900 kilos. Now, the breed #2 is Limousine. Limousine is also from the center of France, but a bit more to the south. It's a very musculous cattle. It has fine meat, and it's also slightly marbled. There is 1.1 million cows of this type The average day growth is of 1.3 kilograms per day, and the carcass weight is around 430 kilos. Number 3 breed in France is Blonde of Aquitaine. It's really from the extreme southwest of France, from the Aquitaine region. There are 500,000 cows of this type. It's very large cattle. It's really considered as premium meat in France. And the average day growth is around 1.4 kilos, and the carcass weight is slightly bigger than that of Charolais. We also have bovine breeds, beef breeds in France, that are well adapted for rearing in hilly, mountainous areas. For example, the Charolais with 200,000 cows, or the Aubrac with 140,000 cows. These are also interesting breeds to know. And globally in France, as you can see on this map, we have many different breeds. Each of them is adapted to its geography and linked to history. And we have 13 beef breeds in France and 11 milk breeds. Now, I hope you found this presentation interesting, and I am open to your questions if you want to send them to me. I would like to conclude to showing some nice pictures of France. We have a history which is linked to our culture and that you can see through our monuments, but it's also through our meals. And I wanted to tell you that in this optic, French gastronomic meal is part of the UNESCO World Immaterial Patrimony list. And the French gastronomic meals center is meat, of course. So it's just to show to you how much meat is important for French farmers and French consumers. Thank you very much for your attention.
The whole world craves for French art de vivre and gastronomy. A gastronomy promoted by the most talented and creative chefs. Creative chefs using French exceptional products, like beef. This exquisite beef is aged and cut according to the unique savoir-faire of our butchers. Our butchers enhance the great work and expertise of beef packers and breeders. Our breeders raise the largest variety of cattle in the whole world. Cattle mostly fed with grass pasture. Grass that grows on rich and diverse outstanding terroirs. Outstanding terroirs for an outstanding beef taste. French beef, a taste of terroirs.